You followed all the right steps. You did everything that you thought was the way you wanted to live your life. You got the job, you had the relationship, you have the life that you wanted to create. You created it. It matched, that image of what you thought the ideal life was for yourself. Yet you wake up in the morning and something just feels wrong. So there's a paradox here, and it's really between having it all figured out versus feeling alive inside. So, we can go through the steps, we can do what we need to do, go to school, get the degree, get the job, meet the person, buy the house, do all the things, and optimize it from what we've learned and what we've seen and what we've watched other people who we really respect and admire. We've watched what they've done. We've seen them excel and create this life that looks so good on paper. And we can create those things. And maybe you've done that. Maybe you've done all those things and you've found yourself in this life that you had imagined and have created it. And it just doesn't bring that feeling you'd hoped it had or just assumed it had. I've talked about my story before. If you haven't seen it, I'll do a little bit of an explanation of it here. So, when I graduated from university, I was a new teacher. I had my amazing partner, and the two of us decided to move to Australia from Canada. And I was able to get the teaching job that I wanted to get, and everything was falling into place. We'd even just bought our brand new first, not brand new, but our first home. And we loved it. We loved how it looked. We loved where we were living. We loved everything that we had created. But something was wrong for me. My husband was over the moon. Everything fit his life perfectly, that he had put himself into this Australia world and created it for himself. But for me, I just didn't fit. Nothing I did felt right. Everything felt like I was an imposter. I was uncomfortable. I just, even from the outside looking in, I had it all figured out. Everything was how I had imagined, but none of it felt right. And I absolutely hit rock bottom. And it didn't make sense. And I've talked about this before, where this was the time where I really questioned, what's the point here? Why am I, going through all the motions and doing all the things that I have to do to get to this place where it just felt empty? Nothing about it felt good for me. I loved my husband. I loved our house. I loved my job. But there was something missing for me, and I couldn't figure out what that was at all. I just knew that I was unhappy. And, it really started with me believing that there was actually something wrong with me. Why wasn't I happy in this life that I had seen other people dream of doing? Move across the world, find your job, go to university, find your job, buy a house. It just looked right. So it didn't make sense. And I was frustrated. I was short tempered. I was angry. I was sad. I was just lost. I didn't know what to make of it. Eventually, I found out what was really going on. And what it was that it wasn't that I was broken. It wasn't that there was something wrong with me. It was that I was that chameleon, that person who was copying, that person who was trying on somebody else's life and following their map. It wasn't my map, and it wasn't leading to where I wanted it to go, at least at the deeper level. It was where I thought I wanted to go, but it became very clear when I got there, it wasn't where I wanted to go. It was really where I believed I needed to follow all the conventional rules, go to university, figure out what I needed to do, go and do that job. But I remember, even when I decided to go into education as a career. It was a last minute decision. Um, I actually picked psychology and I started out in psychology and then shifted to education when I got scared and thought, okay, teachers, my parents were teachers. This is obviously a good career. This will get me where I want to go. This will, make me the money. I will be secure and all the things I wanted. And thought it was the way to go. But I was really being led by a lot of shoulds. I was being led by, my family and what worked for them. I was being led by my husband and moving to Australia because that's what he wanted to do. So a lot of things that I was doing were based on reasons that weren't really my own deep down desires or interests or path. Once I got clear that what was happening wasn't that I was broken, wasn't that I failed, it was that I had chosen to create something that really wasn't aligned with me. And once I figured that out, it really was the doorway that allowed me to figure out who I actually was. So this was this opportunity that came from a really tough place of diving into life and creating something that really wasn't who I really wanted to be. But I had to try something else on. I didn't have any other way to figure my way forward. All I had was what I saw around me and what I thought was the right way. And I took that path and it wasn't the right way. So if you find yourself in this place, remember it's not that you're failing. It's that you have discovered that you've just perhaps been using the wrong map to guide you where you wanted to go. And what's happening now is really this doorway into helping you find your way to yourself, find your way home to the life that you want and the path that is actually aligned to your desires, your values, your passions. It's really us going into what I've been talking about, which is square one. So this square one is not going backwards, it's going back through change and transformation with the new information that we have now. With knowing what we have tried on that's no longer working, no longer lighting us up, no longer giving us what we need, gives us the information we need to know as we move forward to figure out what is our right way, what is our path, and what is our way home. If you're ready to walk through the door, keep watching because I'm going to continue to talk to you more about what it feels like here in square one. This recognition of feeling empty despite you doing all the right things, creating the life that you thought was the way you wanted to live, this is just your doorway in. And if you're ready to walk through that door, then stick around because I want to help you here as you learn how to move forward through the change cycle in a way that allows you to transform yourself and become aligned with who you're meant to be, not following other people, not listening to the shoulds and the conventional wisdom and all the right ways to go, but really following what's right for you. I hope that gives you some insight. All right, take care, and I look forward to talking to you next time. Bye for now.